The government's been secretly planning to effectively ban encryption, so it has unfettered access to people's private communications. Details now with Polly Boyker.
The government wants to oblige companies to remove electronic protection from communications like WhatsApp and other internet messaging apps. This is called backdoor access, and the concern surrounding it is that it could be exploited by hackers or terrorists. Many viewers will recall that the UK's Home Secretary, Amber Rudd, complained about encryption in the wake of the Westminster terror attack in March.
There should be no place for terrorists to hide. We need to make sure that organisations like WhatsApp, and there are plenty of others like that, don't provide a secret place for terrorists to communicate with each other. We need to make sure that our intelligence services have the ability to get into situations like encrypted WhatsApp.
The plan is to force internet service providers and phone companies to hand over suspects' communications within 1 day of the authorities asking for them. And companies will have to be able to provide this for 1 in every 10,000 customers, which, according to estimates, equates to around 6,500 Brits at any one time, which is effectively a recipe for real-time mass surveillance. In order to do this, authorities will need the approval from a Secretary of State and a special judicial commissioner that would be appointed by the Prime Minister. So it would have to be sanctioned by senior government figures, and it would be in secret. Where do other political parties stand on the Investigatory Powers Act? Well, when it came to voting on the law last year, Labour, the main opposition party, a number of their MPs abstained from voting, which effectively allowed the Conservatives to vote it through. The Liberal Democrat Party here has always opposed it, saying that it's a threat to our civil liberties. And in relation to these leaked specifics, well, we've asked the Home Office, and they've told us that there's nothing new in the consultation, that it merely relates to technical details of powers that are set out in the Investigatory Powers Act already.
The co-founder of the Open Intelligence think tank, Lotz K, he believes this is the wrong response to the current threat of terrorism.
Now we know the British government wants to break into services like WhatsApp. This is a huge danger to the privacy of individuals, but also to the security of individuals. We're all concerned about terrorism right now, but the response has to be targeted, not blanket surveillance. But why this puts it at risk is because it's putting essentially ways to get into our communications. If the government can get into our communications, if our telecommunications companies can get into our communications, can break encryption, so can others. That's cyber criminals, that's also foreign governments, that's terrorists. We're swimming in information. It's analysis we need.
France is on a high security alert on the eve of the presidential election runoff. A suspected radical Islamist has been arrested north of the capital. RT's Charlotte Dubinsky has more.
There was an arrest of a man who was found in a parked car near a military base in the north of France. Now, after searching that vehicle, we understand that a video where the man had pledged allegiance to IS was found in the vehicle, as well as flags suggesting that he was a supporter of IS. Now, that also comes when here in the capital, in Paris, security concerns were raised after a number of activists, this is from the Greenpeace group, were able to get past security at the Eiffel Tower, one of the most visited sites in Paris, and they were able to scale that tower and then unfurl a political banner. And given that security is so tight already in the country, with this country has been in a state of emergency now for around 18 months, questions are being asked about how security breaches like this can take place in France. Tens of thousands of additional officers are being deployed across the country as voters head to the polls in the next 24 hours. And this also comes amid reports that ISIS has apparently released a manual for its supporters for how they should carry out attacks and killing missions using trucks. Now, we have seen across northern Europe a number of incidents in the last few months with vehicles or trucks being used in in terror attacks. And of course, France is no stranger to a terror attack with a truck. Just almost a year ago now, at the Bastille celebrations in Nice in 2016, a 19-ton cargo truck was driven into the crowds there, with 86 people being killed. All of these things raising many concerns here in France as the voters head to the polls in what, as I say, is seen as being a crucial presidential election.
Well, throughout this year's presidential campaign in France, many expressed fears that Russia could attempt to meddle in the election process. That's after similar accusations from American officials regarding last year's presidential campaign there. The allegations have been the subject of multiple hearings in the U.S. Congress. However, 6 months on, and there still hasn't been any evidence presented to support any of the claims. And here's what top Democratic member of the Senate Intelligence Committee, Dianne Feinstein, revealed in a recent interview after a classified intelligence briefing on the matter of Russia meddling.
Do you have evidence that there was in fact collusion between Trump associates and Russia during the campaign?
Not at this time.
All right, more news coming your way after the break here on RT International, including the story of the biggest state bankruptcy in the history of America.